Does your boss monitor every keystroke while you work from home? Is that AI that promoted your colleague biased? Do you feel truly safe to speak up at your job? The modern workplace is evolving at lightning speed, bringing incredible opportunities. However, it's also creating a minefield of new ethical questions about our rights, our privacy, and basic fairness. Today, we're looking at the most critical ethical issues you face at work right now. We spend a third of our lives at work. We deserve to be treated fairly, to have our privacy respected, and to feel safe. But from biased hiring algorithms to invasive surveillance and the persistent fear of harassment, it's easy to feel powerless. And then you start to wonder, is this just how it is? I'm here to tell you it's not. Today we're going to explore your fundamental rights in the modern workplace. We'll talk about fairness in pay and promotion, the ethical red lines of technology and surveillance, and what a truly respectful workplace looks like. And finally, we'll tackle one of the most bravest, most difficult ethical choices anyone can make: blowing the whistle. This is your guide to understanding and defending your rights at work. It all starts with fairness. We all want to believe that the best person gets the job, the promotion, and the high-profile projects. However, unconscious bias can deeply infect these processes, often derailing fairness before the candidate even gets in the door. For example, landmark studies have consistently shown that identical resumes get different callback rates depending on the name at the top, revealing racial and gender biases. Applicants' perceived background can dramatically change their chances before their skills are even considered. And then, this initial bias doesn't just stop at hiring. It creates a ripple effect, influencing who gets access to mentorship, who gets chosen for challenging assignments, and who ultimately gets promoted. Ensuring fairness means actively fighting these defaults. It means companies implementing blind resume reviews and using standardized interview questions for all candidates, and creating clear objective criteria for advancement. As renowned diversity and inclusion advocate Vera Myers famously said, "Diversity is being invited to the party, inclusion is being asked to dance." True workplace ethics is about building systems where everyone has equal opportunity to demonstrate their skills and advance based purely on merit, not on biases that they can't control. Now, let's talk about privacy. You're at your desk or your home office. You get an email, or you start chatting with your colleague on the company's messaging app. Who's reading that? In many places, the answer is your employer could be. The right to privacy at work is a huge ethical gray area. Many companies argue that they need to monitor communications and computer usage to protect the company's assets and ensure productivity. However, this has been supercharged by new technology. We're talking about logging keystrokes, GPS tracking on company vehicles, and even AI-powered software that analyzes facial recognition on video calls to gauge engagement. This raises a critical question. Where's the line between security and invasive surveillance? As privacy expert Shoshana Zuboff argues in her book, The Age of Surveillance Capitalism, a society where every move is monitored creates a massive power imbalance. Ethically, the burden is on the employer to be transparent. Are they telling you what they're monitoring and why? Is there a legitimate business need, or is it just creating a culture of distrust? Your right to privacy doesn't completely disappear when you clock in. The newest player in workplace ethics is artificial intelligence. AI is now used to screen resumes, conduct initial interviews, and even monitor employee performance. The promise is a world without human bias. However, the reality is that AI can inherit and even amplify the bias present in the data that it's trained on. If an AI is trained on 20 years of company hiring data from a time when mostly men were hired for leadership roles, guess who the AI will learn to favor for the future leadership roles? Men. And then you have a high-tech version of the same old discrimination. An ethical approach to AI in the workplace demands transparency and auditing. Companies must be able to answer the why the AI made a certain decision and constantly check it for biased outcomes. Furthermore, what happens when the AI is your manager? When the algorithm sets your work pace, assigns your tasks, and flags you for being unproductive? Oops. This removes the human discretion and empathy, creating an environment of relentless, machine-driven pressure. The ethics here are about maintaining human dignity in an increasingly automated world. Of course, none of these other rights matter if you don't feel fundamentally safe and respected by the people around you. Workplace harassment, whether it's based on sex, race, or any other protected characteristic, is not just unethical, it's illegal. It creates a toxic environment that poisons productivity and destroys lives. Preventing harassment is more than just about a once-a-year training video. It's about leadership consistently modeling respectful behavior. It's about creating a culture where inappropriate jokes aren't just laughed off as just kidding. It's about having clear, confidential, and fair procedures for reporting and investigating complaints without fear of retaliation. As the US Equal Opportunity Commission makes clear, the goal is to stop harassment before it rises to the level of legal violation. It's about building a culture of everyday respect. So, what happens when you witness something seriously wrong? Not just a minor issue, but fraud, corruption, or a major public safety risk. You've tried to raise it internally, but no one's listening. This leads to one of the most difficult ethical crossroads, becoming a whistleblower. Whistleblowing is the ultimate act of loyalty, not to a boss, but to the public, or to the fundamental principles that the company is supposed to stand for. People like Sharon Watkins at Enron or the engineers who warned about the Space Shuttle Challenger disaster are famous examples. However, it comes with immense personal risks. Whistleblowers often face retaliation, lose their jobs, and are ostracized from their industries, even with legal protections like the Sarbanes-Oxley Act. Deciding to blow the whistle is a profound ethical calculation. You have to weigh the harm of staying silent against the potential personal costs of speaking out. There are organizations like the National Whistleblower Center that can provide guidance. The ethical path here is not easy, but it's a powerful reminder that sometimes the most ethical choice is also the most courageous. So, the modern workplace is complex, but the core ethical principles are timeless. You have the right to fairness in how you're hired and paid. You have a right to a reasonable expectation of privacy and to be treated with dignity, even when technology is involved. You have the right to a safe and respectful environment, free from harassment. And you have the right, and sometimes the duty, to speak up when those fundamental ethics are being violated on a grand scale. Understanding these rights is the first step to ensuring that they are respected. It empowers you to ask the right questions and to advocate for yourself and others. I'm curious, which of these issues, AI hiring, employee privacy, or something else, concerns you the most about the future of work? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this video helpful, please hit that like button and subscribe for more content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.